morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from a boring United States. We are dropped. Let me see. I got to get back onto Facebook. Once again, dropped us. Let's get that back on, and we should be going in a moment. Facebook, come on. There we go. All right. So good morning, everyone, and hello, Gladiator Guru.
Hello, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru, filming live from Estella, Spain.
Esteja.
So, yes.
Damn Puerto Ricans with your Esteja.
Estella, we want to say LL, but here's double, it's Esteja. I got corrected a couple times already, so I'm going to follow suit. Esteja. So, yes.
How was your ride over?
The flight was good. It was straight. It was a straight flight, and then we got into Madrid at 11:30 in the morning, and then at 2 something we took the speed train to Pamplona. So that was another 3 hours and 20 minutes, and then we got to Pamplona. We spent the night, and then this morning we busted here to Estella, which was the last place we walked to before I had to return home. So this is our starting point. So tomorrow we start our camino.
Okay, and so just for everybody that doesn't know yet, how long? What is your ultimate plan so far to stay? Like, how long are you planning to walk for?
Till the first week of June. It's gonna take about 30 to 34 days to finish this, because some of the lengths, like in the book, some of the lengths here that we were going through are up to 28.9 kilometers. That's like way over 15 miles for the day. So when they're going up mountains, we're gonna split it. But for anything like 20 to 23 kilometers, we're gonna walk it through.
Nice.
So it should be done. Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Gail. Gail is in the house. Good morning, Kathy. Edith's logged in, and she's sitting right next to you. So
right next to me. So yeah, so that's a good. I came with a different mindset than in the winter, and I just wanted to share that. We have a life, and then life hands us over to death, and it doesn't pause for us to catch up to life. And it doesn't extend us because we didn't do what we were supposed to do while we were living. It's an exchange that happens when it's supposed to happen. So, and I'm sitting here thinking on the bus right over here this morning that the message for me was, try to live your life where you're not hindering anybody, but don't shortchange yourself.
Yeah.
With excuses. Yes. Oh, I really would love to go, but then something else will come up and you're jumping at it. We work Monday through Friday, and so many people love Fridays because it's the start of the weekend. But then what happens in the weekend? You're caught up doing laundry, groceries. You're still not living. You're still being busy. You're not being. So my message is, from going forward, as I say, I'm going to walk until my body says no. I'm not going to shortchange myself. And I'm going to take in all the beauty that this journey has to offer me. And through the pain, through the discomforts, because life waits for no one. And, I learned that when I was here in January, how I had to cut it short because life did an exchange, that it transferred over to death. So my message would be is, what? If it's something you can do it. We fill ourselves with wants, believing they're needs, and they're not. They're just wants. Who needs another pair of sneakers? Who needs another pair of shirts? What you need is to enjoy your life.
Yeah, I agree. Well, but here's to this though. Some people actually find enjoyment in things, and I don't agree with it, but I've learned to say that it's not my path. So if people, if they want to buy all those things and that gives them meaning, then that's them. It's just that when you start to really look at what you're doing, there's such a big world out there, and there's so many different people, and you don't really get to understand people until you've traveled elsewhere. Doesn't have to be out of the country necessarily, but even just different parts of your own country. It's just, if you stay where you are and you really, and the only time you travel is to go to resorts, and that's not getting to know the area, not getting to know the people and the culture. So I think it's very important for people to be able to just pack it up and go, and you're right. It's like, do I buy the expensive pair of sneakers, or do I just go out for a day, and explore? It's like,
go to a wine tasting, do something you haven't done, but it piqued your interest at one point. And because you know what, memories are stored in our hearts, not in things. Things grow old, whatever. However, it's like you said, why go to a resort? You should go and see everything. That's what I'm saying with buying the extra pair of sneakers. And I'm only saying that because of my own kids. I'm not saying this for anyone else. I see them, and it's like we cheat ourselves from life. And our past show that Lori, the Badass Buddha, titled "Life Will Make It Happen." Is that what it was?
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. That's also what I was thinking about. That was the first thought I got today when I was on the bus. Life finds a way, and life is giving us the opportunity to really fulfill legend, to leave a legacy. And it's not through things; it's through action. It's through laughter, smiles, and just joy, and sharing that joy. And you know what? That's inexpensive to do. It really is. Like last night we went out to dinner and we had two patatas. It's like an egg dish and two glasses of wine, and it was only 10 euros. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like, it's the best things in life are what you make it, not what a price tag says. All I'm saying is let's try to live life.
Well, and that's perfect because it's perfect that you are starting today, because today's show is Live, Laugh, Love. Now, some people get so sick and tired of hearing that expression because it's everywhere. It's on every sign. It was a running joke in our house when my nephew came to visit, because he sees that all the time. Live, laugh, love, like signs. And he's like, oh, I'm surprised you don't have that sign in your house. And then he and his wife started laughing. And, but the title of the show, though, really, it is perfect. It's like, look, we have to live our life. How we choose to live our life is up to us. So do we choose to be miserable every single day and not appreciate what's right in front of us? Or do we decide to, live our life laughing, loving, singing, skipping, doing, being a part of, connecting? It's like all of those things. Good morning, Tiffany. But this is it. So like, as Gladiator Guru travels on her Camino, it's for her, but it's also the people that she meets along the way, which is really incredible. And that's the thing, is that, we meet people along the way, and it doesn't matter who they are, what their background is, they still can touch us deeply. They can teach us something. And most of the time it's when we don't expect it. That's the best.
Exactly. And you hit on something, when we're in our own backyard, we feel that we can't run to the grocery store unless our hair's done or we got some type of makeup on, because, oh my God, every time I look bad, I'm going to run into people. And so we're always worried about el que dirán, what someone's going to say. And here, when you meet with the pilgrims, everybody's we're on the same path. We're on the same journey. We're going to look scrungy. We're going to look, however, we're going to come in at the end of the day, and some of us will be smelling more than others, but you're going to shower, and then you're right. It doesn't matter what walks of life you came from, but you're here. And the thing is, if we decide to live, laugh, and love, then we have to understand that we must live in our now. And in The Alchemist, the camel driver said, when Santiago said, "Are you not worried?" And he says, "No, why should I be worried? I do not live in yesterday, nor do I live in tomorrow. All I have is today. So today, if I'm eating chicken, then I'm just going to enjoy this chicken in my now. Nothing else matters."
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, but how could you? it is simple. We just have to unlearn all those bad habits that we had. And like, yes, last night at the albergue, the man sleeping in the bed next to me, he was absolutely gorgeous. Like, he was talking to us, and then he came back from the shower, and I said, "Ooh, I didn't even recognize you. You look so hot without your shirt. Oh my God, you better hurry and put a shirt on." He was on. He just came down with the towel, got dressed in front of us, underwear and all, because it's like we're living. And so we went out walking on to get a book, because so as it happens, when Iris came to pick me up, I had my book in the lobby outside where I live. So I was outside, I went in, I grabbed my backpack, my book fell out. So I'm like, oh my God. And my son's like, I can't believe it. And my son came to see me right when the guy who was taking us to the airport was there. I'm like, it's all right, I'll find one on the camino, which I did. So we get back, and he comes outside. He's a cyclist, right? He cycles through the Camino. So we're sitting down. He asks, "What do you do?" And or something. I don't know what it was. And I said, I was like, "Yeah, she's a writer." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, how many books?" And I was telling him, and he goes, "Oh, I'm a writer too. I've published 13 books, and three of them are novels, and several of them are on the Camino, because he's done so many Caminos." And we just sat there and talked. He gave me his email. His books are all on Amazon, but they're in
This is
Spanish.
is this the gorgeous
Yes,
guy?
yes. And
How old was
he
he?
hugged us this morning. Yeah, he hugged
How
us.
old was he, you think?
I don't know how old he was. He didn't look that old, and his body sure as hell didn't. But and then
Good morning.
yeah. So what I'm saying is the appreciation of everything. It's not. People say hi in their languages. It's just, you know what? I'm at home. I love it. There's nothing else but me and my now, and I have to remember to do that when I get back home, mi gente. That's the difficult thing is we know what's good for us, but we don't apply it as we should. So
Yeah.
to live, laugh, love, we have to be present in our now.
Yeah.
We have to own our now. That's
Yeah.
how we live.
Because
Completely live.
what we do is this. So why is it that we have such a great time when we're on vacation? Why are we so happy? We're not worried about anything because we are in that moment. It is that vacation brain. It's sort of like the honeymoon brain when you first start dating somebody. It's you're in that moment. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future, maybe not so much, but you're in that present moment. And then all of a sudden we just go right back to the way we were, because our lives become very mundane and very, this is the way it is. But if you force yourself every single day to have some sort of novelty, meaning something new, do something different, or really appreciate something, really take that moment and look and say, wow, this is really, this is really great. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be with this person. I'm going to make the best of this. It shifts you, and then you start thinking things differently instead of like always worrying, always complaining, always, thinking about this and, oh, I've got this going on and I can't do it and it's too much and blah, blah, blah. And it's like we've said this before, we all have the same amount of time in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has some people don't have as much to do. You're like right now, I'm still building my business. I don't have a lot to do, but I have a lot to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole bunch of things that need to be done, including building up my business. So there will be a time where it will shift and certain things will be happening differently, but I still have 24 hours in the day. And when I hear people talk about they're stressed, they're freaking out, they've got this going on, they're overwhelmed.
They don't have time.
Because they're allowing themselves to be. Mm-hmm. Instead of understanding that everybody's that way. Some of the busiest people, I'm talking people that really they have like 2-3 jobs, they're raising their kids. And there's people out there that are really still very happy. They don't look at it as, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I'm so this. They still find the time because they make the time. They prioritize, they balance well, and then if it doesn't work, they figure something else out. They're always reinventing. They're always moving because they're resilient. Resiliency, we're all born with it. We F it up as we grow up, and we believe ourselves not to be very resilient. But then once you get out of that belief system and you say, you know what, I actually am quite resilient, and I can find a way. Everything is figure outable. There's always a way. I may not like it, but the more you do it, the less dislike you have, because you're always making better choices. And if you choose to say, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to enjoy every day, and I mean, it might not be perfect every day. There's going to be crap that happens. But if you still say at the end of my day, I'm still happy, I'm still excited to be here, that's the difference. That's what we're saying.
Well, and I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm not here I don't speak just to get likes, so to say. I believe in pull off the band-aid once and for all. Everything in life takes steps, but you probably already passed the step where you were supposed to rip the bitch off. And you keep on with excuses. You keep on overloading yourselves with things. See, people, places, and things don't always belong in your life.
Yes.
When you learn that, then that's when you are rooting. You're your own cheerleader. That's when you have no holds bar on where you're going to take yourself. When we have all of these excuses, we have 86,400 seconds in a day, all of us. And the thing with that is that it's not transferable into the next day. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
So I'd say learn to make a choice. There's you can have 10 things, and you got to choose one that's going to alter your life for the better. But you're scared. Make the choice anyway. When you made the decision to make that choice, then you are excited and scared to embark on towards the new you that you have been waiting for all your life. No one is holding you back from becoming the you you're supposed to be. You are your own worst enemy. Khalil Gibran has a quote that I love. It says, and the Lord says, love thy enemy. And I listened and began to love myself. And when you learn that, I mean, we all know the hardest love is self-love, especially if you weren't used to coming from that. But I think anything in life that you want to do it. Like, for instance, when I had to return on January 10th because of my son's father passing away. Okay, it was set. It was maktub. It had to happen. It was written that I had to return, that we had to return at that time. Because not even a month, 3 days shy of a month, Iritza's father died. And she had to be there to assist her mom and assist even with her dad. She bathed him and everything days before he died. She was his caregiver. So it was written. There's no complaining or anything with that. And then I took semi-role of my son's father in my son's life with his wife and his child, and now his new child. And there's no complaints there. So I had to sit back, and I was very much, and we spoke about it. I held on to my lease for 1 week because the fear of committing for a year at the studio. But I did it. Why? Because I committed to my son to assist until the baby's old enough to go to daycare, right? So why not commit to myself? Why was I quick to say, okay, I'll come join you in your home and I'll be there? But I held on to a lease for a week. And that brought up so much in me. Like, why for me, I hesitate. Like, am I not trusting that I'm capable? And then I did it. It was the best decision I've done. I cannot wait to stream from the studio so you can see. Because let me tell you something. I don't mean to brag, but it is beautiful. The studio is beautiful.
It is, really.
So why? Because I made a choice. And when I made that choice, I decided to see it through. And by seeing it through, I am embarking on a new Margarita. Like, okay, I have the studio now. I need to hone in on what is going to be my specialty here and then have a plan B. So I'm doing my teas and I'm painting purses and canvases. And I've already sold 2 purses. and one of them's not even done yet. So, okay, all right, Margie. So I'm just going to minimize because I'm like a jack of all trades, and people will say master of one, and I'm saying right now master of none because I still flip flop. But I can tell you that I still flip flop because I'm not ashamed to say I have to close up until I master one, and then I'm going to do another because I know what I'm capable of. So there was
Yes.
no to fear the commitment, but it was commitment not in what I can do, but it was still a commitment, me committing. So but I did it, and it provides solitude, it provides freedom to me for me to be creative, and even in my coffee books, I write that people say, "What do you do?" Oh, I create, and how do you make a living out of that? Well, it provides me freedom and peace, you know, and I drink coffee and laugh a lot. So you have to find who you are and you have to start trusting who you are because to live, laugh, and love from your soul, keep it real. A lot of us pretend we're walking around laughing and smiling, I love you, and that word is thrown around so much that it's actually lost its meaning. But live, laugh, and love for you, because then it's no work for it to come out of you towards the people that you love to laugh and live with. They all go hand in hand.
Yep. So that's the, I mean, you know, look at where Gladiator Guru is. It's just beautiful. And
It
the
is.
question is how many times are you going to say to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that trip here and I'm going to go visit this and I'm going to go blah blah blah." And then you don't. It just doesn't happen every year. So Gladiator Guru just goes. She just does. And when you decide that you're going to do something, it's interesting because when it's especially the thing that you're supposed to be doing, the universe opens up to it. It just it finds a way. Like if you say, "Oh, I don't have any money to do that," once you decide to do that, it will open up itself, and you'll find a way, and the money will come to you. I mean, I want to give a shout out to Iritza. Iritza had gone away right before they had done went to Spain. And in that interim, right before she went, Gladiator Guru was telling me that she was hustling, like she was seeing clients, and she was just making that money because she knew she had to make a certain amount of money before she went. And the interesting thing is we always find the energy, we always find the time. It's like because we've decided this is really important to
It
us.
matters. Yeah.
And I don't I'm very I've had a couple of things occur in the last couple of months, not occur. I've experienced some things. A lot of the people that I'm meeting, family, friends, having conversations, and I'm coming to terms with being around the people who are very motivated and just live for life. They just want to live their life and they go forward, and they don't focus on what could happen. They just focus on, if it happens, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're half-assed and they throw, they don't plan. These are people that plan, but they plan with trusting in the process. It is what it is. And then the other people who every time you talk to them, they're complaining about something and they're worried about this and they can't do that and they can't make plans. And it's become really apparent to me that it's very hard for me to be around those people. Some of them are just meeting, and when you just meet somebody, you don't really have an attachment to them. So you're like, okay, that's all right. I'm not going to write them off. I'm just going to say, keep them, at a distance. I'm not going to get close to them. And who knows, maybe they're just going through a rough time and this isn't really who they really are. Maybe they'll be inspired. So it's never closed. Like I never look at it and go, that's not my type of person. I used to be that way, but I don't. But the people that are closer to me, friends, family, or whatever, that are doing that, I'm not going to throw them out either, but I'm sending them love to be like, doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to, every time I talk to you on the phone, you don't have to be complaining about something and it's the same stuff all the time. You don't have to focus on solutions. That's the other thing. That's what it comes down to, is the solution. If you say, well, I never go anywhere and I'm so sick and tired of where I am, what's the solution to that? Go somewhere. We're not telling you forever. It's like, oh, I'm sick of my marriage and I hate my job. We're not telling you necessarily drop it all, but hey, if you could, oh my goodness. But we're not telling you to do that. Go on a vacation. Just take the time off and say, I'm going to go a place I've never been before. I'm going to go by myself and I'm going to explore. Oh, but I'm a little afraid to do that. Like, what if this happens? What if it happens? When I went traveling with my kids, there's a lot of things that could have happened across, we're driving, and I had 2 dogs with me, and it's not easy to travel. Like, if you get stuck or you break down, you have kids and dogs. AAA ain't going to be towing all of you guys to the, so I just had to throw it up and say, I'll figure it out. If it happens, I'll figure it out. It never happened, but if it did, I wasn't worried about it. If a hotel didn't work out, I knew that I could easily just get on my phone and find another place. That's the beauty of it, is to say, you know what? If this doesn't work out, I'm resourceful. I'll find a way.
See, I've never been like that. I've never worried about what I was going to do. You know what? I've always lived on, it's better to say, I'm sorry, than can I? Always. But I've never worried. I just did what I had to do, and then I dealt with the consequences when they came. But there are people who would even cancel a trip an hour before they were supposed to go because anxiety and fear set in. I know these people, and there's really not much I can say to them. But I, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try again, and then you go into the nosebleed section of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not. I love you. I'll pray for you, but I'm closing that door with you. I'm not like, not that I'm not forgiving, because I don't hold grudges towards anybody. But what I'm saying is, I cannot waste my energy in what I consider to be assistance, and then you're slapping me in the face with whatever. So then we don't need to be communicating on a daily like this anymore.
That's
because
correct.
because you're wasting my energy.
Yes.
And that I will never get back, that I could have shared with somebody who really wants me.
That's right.
So, to live, love, laugh, to get back to that, when I made the plans to come, I knew I had to come, and I knew I had to come here in the springtime because it is my favorite. I mean, if you are to say what camino is this is actually my 4th camino, even though I didn't finish the first one, but I started it. And always remember, when you start something, you started it. Don't matter how the ending is or if you enjoyed the ending or not. People think that they're not accomplished unless they finish what they started. Well, you might not like it.
That's a good point.
But it doesn't mean that you weren't successful. You were successful because regardless of the fears, anxieties,
still started it.
Issues, no support from anybody, you still went ahead and started something.
Yes.
And maybe, hopefully at the beginning, but midway you realize, oh, this really isn't for me. But they can't hold that. Nobody can hold that against you because they're still where they were when you started something. So to love yourself is to be able to laugh at yourself. And that's living.
Yes.
Because you can't laugh at, like, oh my God, I was such a fool, or I can't believe I did that, but at least I met nice people along the way. There's always a takeaway when you embrace something new and something different. So to live, to love, and to laugh is not for anybody to bring life to you, to tickle your ass, or to whisper, I love you.
Yeah.
That's all. I want to say that's a facade of self-cultivation. It's a facade, because they're only going to do it for that moment. What you're going to do the rest of your life? But if you do it to yourself, if you retrain yourself on the brilliance of you, regardless of where you're at in life, then you're going to always laugh at yourself. You're going to always find something to chuckle at. You're going to smile, birds coming up to you, or whatever the case may be, a beautiful butterfly. It's still something that you're going to look at, and it's going to make you smile. And when you smile, it raises your vibrations, and that's loving yourself.
That's right.
You have to learn to admire the things outside of you as well. But because when you admire something outside of you, what does that say about you? You're loving something. You're noticing something. That means you're alive. That means you're living.
That's right.
And you're seeing something for what it is. And that beauty outside of you is making you feel warm. And when you feel warm, that's a part of you that's awakening. So instead of rushing through your day to get somewhere, stop and smell the roses. That old saying has so much depth to it, you know? And so when we come together with ourselves, whisper, I love you. Whisper, we did good today. I do that all the time. You did good today. Because I've come a long way. I've come a very long way. And so I will tell myself, you did good today. You're doing good. And I'm going to make it. And there's no excuses. I'm going to walk as far as I can walk. If I have to send my backpack ahead when there's big mountains, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I don't care if a pilgrim looks at me and says, that's not pilgrimage. Marone me. So it's all about, I don't worry about nothing outside of me as long as I'm not offending anybody on purpose.
Right.
I know I can come off offensive because although people like to accuse me of being aggressive, I know that I'm a very assertive woman. So when I speak, somebody might take offense. Again, I'm not triggering nobody because that's your unresolved issues. But I think because I laugh all the time, you know, I live to the best I can, still have somewhere to go. Um, and like, and I love myself. I love myself with all my flaws. And the next thing I'm working on, I'm gonna say it here, is for 7 years I've left my menopause unchecked because I don't like taking pills and I don't like doing this. And so now I'm looking into the foods and everything that's gonna help me now, right after 7 years later. Because when I went to the doctors 2 weeks ago and I'm like, what's going on with this weight gain? She said your hormones are very imbalanced. So now I gotta look at different means for me because then that can cause other issues. But again, it's because I'm loving myself. And and you know what? I'm walking around like nothing. Wider hips than usual. I don't care. Don't look at me if I'm not your cup of tea. I'm walking around with my coffee. Go ahead, badass.
The bottom line is this. Look, this is April. We're at the last day of April, and literally the last day of April. And April was the living month. That's what we focused on. And we really wanted you to take this month and really just look at your life and ask yourself, are you truly living? Are you existing or are you living? And when you look back, and even this is when you do look back too, we don't live in the past, but we look back and we learn from it. How many years in your past did you just live and not, just exist, and not live? I look back at mine and there were blocks of time where I was just existing. We
gotta forgive ourselves for that, Laura.
Exactly.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But it's like we gotta forgive ourselves. Anything we did yesterday and further back. Just let it go. That is not who you are today. Even though maybe nothing has changed, it is still not who you are today because today you're becoming aware. So, and look at my granddaughter. Good morning from Savannah. Hi, Savannah. I miss you. And we and I'm reading because I'm still going through the flows with my mom, and it's like that forgiveness unleashed so much from me, such a heavy burden. So whatever we didn't do, if we existed, if we lived a mediocre life, and now we're like, okay, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, I'm gonna cut here, I'm gonna let it grow, whatever you decide. That's the beautiful you in your today, because remember, that is all we own is today. So if you throughout today, if you have flashbacks, if I should have did this, and maybe if I did it this way, no, tell yourself, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for holding on to that and bringing it into our today.
Yeah. Be happy where you are now. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are now if we had not gone through what we went through. You know, how many times have you been caught saying to yourself, "Oh, if I knew then what I know now," you know? Of course. But that the reason you know what you know now because of what you experienced. And yes, it would have been great. I would have had an amazing life if I had a different mindset and really didn't care what people thought and was very, you know, steadfast, because it's amazing the people that I've attracted in my life now based on my personality now, being very outgoing and just excited about life. And I hear it all the time. You know, people say that all the time. They're like, "Oh, I love Dr. Lori's energy." I hear that at the network, you know, in the networking thing. And I'm not always on, you know, like, I mean, I am there because I'm happy to be there and I'm happy to be here, like where I am. I mean, I have my moments when I'm home and I'm quiet by myself, but the bottom line is that I've been able to really come out and let the real me come out because I was getting in my own way. I can blame anybody and everybody from where I came from, but in the end, it was me. I was allowing any of these situations or people to bother me, and that was BS. That's all on me. So getting out of the environment, getting away from situations and people allowed me to clear my head and really take accountability for myself, but also decide, do I want to be that person or do I want to be this person? Who am I really? And when I decided, no, I want to be this person. And I, the people that I meet, the conversations that we have, the quality of people I meet, I'm meeting people at an exponential amount. Like I said that to my daughter yesterday. We were talking on the front porch, and I said, she's actually going to go to a network meeting with me tonight. And she actually, both of them are going to go. And she said, she's changed as a result. And she goes, yeah, I mean, even though these are not really my people, but maybe they have children that are my age, you know, or siblings that are my age, or they know people. I said, that's the attitude. That's a great attitude. And she goes, because I'm really not meeting anybody. And I said, and the odd thing is I'm meeting so many people. Like, it's crazy how many people I've met. It's crazy how many people I have on my phone now that to reach out to. And I'm grateful for it. But it's because I made a choice. I made a choice on how I wanted to be. And I left behind. I mean, she creeps up every so often, you know, that's what happens. You know, the old you creeps up, and you don't knock it down. You just say, hey, listen, there was a time for you, but let's be this person now, you know, because you can't down yourself either and go, I hate that person. I hate the person I used to be. Don't hate the person you used to be. It's just like that quote that you just said with Khalil Gibran. It's you have to honor the fact that those were all of you. Those were all your personalities, and those personalities, maybe they have a purpose, you know, like my little tough ass person, and sometimes my fear person steps in, as long as they step in at the right time, you know, not all the time, not driving me and saying, well, I don't know, I can't, I don't think I'm going to do that. It's okay, sit in the back seat for a minute. I got this. We can figure this out. And then the fear part says, oh yeah, you know what you kind of do. All right, we're good.
I tell mine whenever the old Margie comes up and I want to punch somebody in the throat, I'm like, it's okay, mama. We're good where we're at. It's called growing pains. And because I acknowledge her because she saved my life.
Yes, exactly.
And never let me give up. She was that driving force and never let me give up. And now that was survival mode. So that now she's, you know, she's there. She's always there. And she, you know, she can be my hype man sometimes. But you said something earlier, and it's about who we are. And in my journal, understand her. The the second or third page, the question there is, am I? And it's for you to fill it in. And then right before the end of the journal, there's a whole page dedicated for you to write, I am. Because through the journal, you're asked a series of questions, and so And they're the most simplest questions that we never take time to really learn ourselves. Like, for instance, one of them is, what's your favorite meal? And you're like, oh, I don't know, I eat whatever the kids want or there's. And then you say, well, what's your husband's favorite meal? Your partner's, oh, he loves ba ba ba. And when I had a live workshop and that question came up and people were writing 4 or 5 things that they may like. And then when I walked around the room and I saw that and I said, okay, your significant other, your husband's, what's their favorite meal? And everybody has something to say. I just broke it down. We're not doing that because we're so easy to give out. So the who am I? Start with it. Sometimes we need to check ourselves quarterly. Who am I? You know, because there's that saying, I'm not the same person I was 4 minutes ago. So who am I? So every 3 months, ask yourself that question because you've grown. So 4 times a year, you're going to really write down who you are. At the end of the year, you're going to discover so much about you. It's so simple. Who am I? And then you can say, I am, because we learn and we like and we evict certain attitudes, certain behaviors. We eliminate many others, people going places that fill us with anxiety or anger. So to live, laugh, and love, you have to constantly purge. It's a purging. It's not a spring cleaning once a year. Do it quarterly because you matter. You are still here on earth because you still have a purpose to fill. You still have lives to touch. I don't care where. I don't care if you're making jewelry. I don't care if you're working on the line in some factory. You have a purpose to fulfill, which means you are so important. Joe Pesos, who? You are important. So until you learn how to value that greatness that we have, that is right here, and sometimes it's screaming out to us and we get headaches or we don't understand why we feel moody or I don't know why I'm feeling like this. That's that inner you saying, wake the fuck up. Let me out of here already. It's that simple. I just want to say thank you, Chanel. She said my studio's gorgeous. And Petey wrote something. She said, I'm not going to quit. I could have canceled because my account was hit for fraud, but I hustle because this is a pilgrimage, not a vacation, and I don't need a lot of money. And absolutely. And the thing with that, Iris, if you're still listening, is it wasn't a nap. It was to say, look what we can do when we put our hearts and minds to it.
Yeah.
Look what we can do to solutionize a problem that came at us, not that we created, but that came at us. Somebody said something today and I said, yeah, there's a solution for there's a problem for every solution. And I was like, no, there's a solution for every problem. And I said, no, and for every solution comes another problem that you're going to have to find a solution for, because that is life. So if you know who you are, or you're halfway there, if you're loving yourself, if you can laugh at yourself, then you're living. And when you are living fully engaged in yourself, whenever a problem arises, you find a solution. And when you think that's set, another problem comes from that solution. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to be,
Well, it's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my experience, it's happened. Like it's like when you're fixing the plumbing and you put that black tape on it and then it starts coming out from
somewhere else. Yeah.
Sometimes our lives can be that way. Sometimes we perceive them that way. We just don't have a handle on it. But you don't need to be anywhere special. You don't need to be certified, PhD. You don't need anything. You just need to be present.
Yeah.
You need to be fully present and accepting who you are. And then reminding yourself, I don't need this. What can I eliminate from my life that's gonna lessen my load so that I can shine? And everybody's gonna do it differently. But what I'm saying is, all I'm saying is in today's show is to do it, because we all deserve to live fully, to laugh heartedly, and to love in abundance. When we do that for ourselves, then giving it away is nothing, because we never ever have an empty cup.
Yeah.
And did you receive any videos?
I did. Yeah. Tiffany sent, Kathy. We got it from Chenille. You sent me one, right? Did you do it?
Those, and I sent you Bridget's.
Okay. All right. I haven't looked at them. They're sitting in the email.
Morning.
Yeah. So for what?
Let me tell you. So I said, I got to get a hold of Poofy, right? So Petey sends me his number this morning, 9 o'clock my time. I didn't even think about it. I'm sending him a text. His wife is probably saying, who the hell's texting you at 3 o'clock in the morning? So Pookie, if you listen to the show later on, I'm sorry I didn't know the time, but it was for the tribe videos. But if you can talk about that, and we can get more because Francia needs them.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just putting it in there. Send to our email address, Viva Cafe con Leche 2 at gmail.com. So I just put it up on the thing. So if you want to be a part of our 4-year celebration, it's a combination of, we're going to be posting your videos up on our wall to celebrate 4 years. What we'd like to know is what Viva's meant to you. You know, what have you enjoyed? What do you get from it? That kind of stuff. And it needs to be less than a minute. And just send it to our email address. And then we're also going to have Francia, who's our videographer. She's the one that puts together a lot of our video stuff. We're going to have her also splice some of it too, and include it in our own video. So definitely connect. You know, send it out. We really want to hear it. But it definitely needs to get out by this week. So I would say, today's Tuesday. I would say, if you could get it by Thursday, that would be great, because I have to send it to her, because some of them, depending on how big they are, sometimes it gets a little complicated to send them. So I have to figure out, right, in case there's issues with sending them. But
yeah, en Milagros mandé el video que dice Viva Cafe con Leche, and yeah, because Milagros is not only a tribe member, but she was also a guest. So that
she was a guest. She was in the book. You know,
yeah.
she's been a huge part. And I don't know if you said that to her in Spanish, but Milagros, we were talking about the fact that it would be also great if those of you that are bilingual, it would be great for you to also say part of your message, if not your whole message, in your native language too.
Español.
Yeah, because it's just like, we want everybody to know, like, you know, if for people that isn't English, isn't their native language, to know that this is inclusive to everybody. This is for everybody. I should see if Ephraim could say something.
Look, I'm looking at the video, and the sun is hitting right on my nose, and it feels like my nose is super white. Anyway, yes, please. And Kathy said white tape is plumbing tape. Girl, that was so long ago. I said black. I said electrical tape.
Yeah, white tape. It's the white stuff. Yep, and the black stuff is electric. Well, black comes in different colors too, but generally black.
So yeah, if you can send in. I'm sorry. If you can send in your video.
But in the end, like, what we're basically saying is, when Gladiator was talking about the fact that solutions, whenever you have a solution, a problem will also pop up. But here's the cool part. Again, the more you know yourself, the more focused you become, the more aware you are, and the clearer you are, less problems do present themselves. That's just the way it works. It's just, you know, it's God's way, or universe's way, whatever is in your practice, is to say, this isn't the direction I need you to be in. Go in this direction. However, because you are not going in the right direction, I'm going to have you learn a few things along the way, so that you make sure that you stay steadfast in your direction. So there's positives and negatives, but the negative becomes a positive because we've learned from it. So keep moving forward. You know, really sit, and this weekend, and I know it's Tuesday and we have the new month starting, but this weekend, really sit. Say, what am I planning to do this weekend, or this year? What's on my schedule this year? Like, I really would like to take this trip. How's that going to happen? How can I make that happen? Don't even ask yourself how. Just say, I want this to happen. I'm going to book it, and I'm going to figure it out as I go. And usually when you believe in it, everything will present itself. It will work. Rather than going, well, I'm going to book it, but I'm a little nervous. I'm going to get the insurance just because in case I have to cancel, or what's the date that I have to cancel, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this money, and I'm feeling really stressed because I'm being pushed to make this decision. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get exactly what you wanted. You're going to be able to say to yourself, to say to everybody else, oh, see, it didn't work out. I didn't get the money. I had to cancel. I lost $100 because of that. I'm never doing that again. There you go. You were right.
Yep. You get what you want. So if you want better, you will be better and you will achieve better. And that's just the law of the land. If you sit low vibration, if you sit in the dark, I wrote a post the other day. It was my son's birthday, and my son is still grieving more than he cares to share. And in the thing, I wrote, happiness, even in darkness, is still happiness. Because happiness isn't a choice. You don't pick it up when you're happy, and then when you're feeling all crazy, you lay it down. Happiness and joy, that's just something that's sewn into the tapestry of your soul. And because when you know who you are, then the problems all have solutions. And yeah, when I said there's a solution for every problem and a problem for every solution, is you're never going to really get frustrated when things happen. You're going to learn how to say, oh, that happened again. All right, let me roll up my sleeves. Where we're at. What do we have? What do we need to do? And when I find myself doing that, I'm so empowered. Like I'm so empowered to not get flustered and frustrated or afraid. And then you move forward because everything has a rhythm to it, just like our heartbeat. And whenever you believe nothing good can happen or I can't make this happen, listen to it. Feel it. Listen to it. I go under the blanket sometimes where I could only hear and listen to my heartbeat. It is the best song that I've ever heard in my life because it's the one that keeps me living. So when you feel you can't do anything, trust yourself. Make a choice. That decision is made. Now embark onto something. Okay, this is what I decided to do. There's no turning back. Palante. And then it might leave a bad taste in your mouth. And halfway through, you're like, I did learn this and that. But the most important lesson I learned is this shit ain't for me. There's no, that's when you think of it that way. Or even if you say it that way, there's no regrets because you learned this, and this, but I can do without going forward. That's advancement, mi gente. Anytime you attempt something new and you initiate it, it's advancement because you initiated, you started. Let's do that for ourselves. Let's laugh a little more at ourselves and for ourselves.
That's right. So we're at the end of the show. Do me a favor, Gladiator Girl, make your heart so that it'll come up.
Gonna do it.
Let me see. You got to keep it steady, I think. Keep it still. And then there we go. Yay! Yeah, you were doing that as you're talking, and it kept giving the thumbs up. So, there. Oh, nice. Very nice.
Thing I am that even my phone believes it. Let's do it one. Let's see. Is it gonna do it?
I don't know.
Oh, it gave me a one shot. But yeah,
oh my God.
When this like that before it came up.
But we want to tell you that. So coming up for May, we had May is going to be our to do the push month. The push month. We're going to be talking about really pushing ourselves to do and attain the things that we want in our lives. But the only way to really start pushing is to be very clear on what it is that you want and what it is that you do not want in your life. So even though we are starting on Thursday, we want you to take the next few days between now and Sunday, or between now and next Tuesday. So 1 week. We really want you to think about, like, if you haven't done a vision board, we're not telling you to sit and do a vision board if it's of a problem for you to do. What we're saying for you to do is sit and just write a list. Say, hey, what would I like to have happen for this year. Just because we're in May, it doesn't matter. Just say, what do I want to have happen this year? What would I like to do with my life between now and December 31st? And put it on there, put it on a piece of paper, hang it on your wall, but be clear. Why is that important to you? So this way, when we start pushing it, you're going to push that agenda for yourself. So if it means I just want to be happier every day, I want to be excited about life, I want to live, put that on the paper. And then we're going to talk about how to push forward in doing that.
Listen, I just want to share something. Some of my passwords, and then I smile every time I have to type them in, is I do the password and then number, but the password is I am beautiful. I am exotic. I am important. And try it. If you can change one password today, try one of those and then add a number. And then when you go to type it in, you're gonna see it's like, oh, that was cute. But it's that you get excited because you're reminding, is you telling you I am beautiful, I am important, I am amazing, whatever you want to say, but do the I am and then a positive word about yourself and then a number. And I think that when you do that and you're typing it in, it does make you feel good. Let's normalize making ourselves feel good, making ourselves smile. Yeah. I didn't even think to do that. I'm just talking. Let's normalize that. Because you know what? You're breathing. You are incredible. Start believing it. Start convincing yourself of such.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's time for Gladiator Guru and Iritza to go to enjoy their day. And you start tomorrow, right? You said you start the Camino tomorrow?
I start tomorrow. We start tomorrow morning.
Okay. So you ladies, enjoy yourselves today. And we thank everybody for coming on today. We will see you on Thursday. And that's it. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, please send in those videos. You guys matter to Viva like you would never know. And remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit.
Namaste, everyone.